Newbee, I'm trying to think what they won, and now that I thought about that Lifestealer pick, I'm trying to think about somebody who can come in with the puck for RNG since Lifestealer is in fact banned.
Yeah, they want something that can lane. I want to say the Nature's Prophet is more likely a core hero than Dazzle. I think Dazzle last time they ran it was just played in the 5 position role, so probably it's a support Dazzle. So you need a carry that can lane against the Treants, which would have been, Troll is probably one of the best. PA is also quite good, so those are really good bans from Newbie. So RNG are going to have to think a bit harder about what could work for them. As for Newbie, probably you save your mid for last and just pick a carry here. Limit the carry pool even further so Lycan gets picked up. Very strong, heavy push here. Lycan, Nature's Prophet, Dazzle with the heals. They can get at least one Necrobook on either Lycan or Nature's Prophet, even two if they really want to go all in. But they're going to push incredibly fast.
Yeah, seems like a high push strat coming out from Newbie. Does that then put this kind of burn under RNG where they need to pick a faster lineup? Can they be willing to go with something the next two picks going and looking more towards the late game?
I think you're still okay to pick a carry that does scale. Like ultimately, you don't want to go all in on the early game, but you do need to pick heroes that can defend and buy you time, and that's what Tide gives you. It's damage mitigation. He can go in and with a Crimson Guard of Lads tank against like Necrobooks, Wolves, Treants, Anchor Smash them to reduce the damage. That's the kind of hero you want in the front lines. Puck's got some good AoE wave clear. Tiny's got some good AoE wave clear. So RNG, they've got ways to deal with the push. They don't need to see this like a Nature's Prophet and like freak out and then pick some like early game fighting carry. They can still get a Terrorblade or whatever kind of late game carry they want to go for.
Yes, we'll have to see what they're going to want. They've got the 9th pick overall, and then Newbie having that final pick, which we've seen change a draft outcome and or thoughts on a draft outcome. And there it is. You said Terrorblade, and immediately Newbie go to ban it. They don't want to give something like that up.
Well, so not Terrorblade, then what are we looking at? There's like the Juggernaut type heroes, which are okay. Did Jug get changed at all? I feel like, yeah, Omni Slash attack rate multiplier was reduced in the latest patch, so small nerfs to Jug.
5 seconds remaining.
And then he had some bigger nerfs back in the 7.21 update. I believe he lost an armor. You can't TP during Omni Slash, Healing Ward movement speed, Omni Slash cooldown. Yeah, so he actually got nerfed quite a bit in that patch. So maybe Jug just isn't really the preferred carry, but at this point you are digging a little bit deeper to find out what carry is still left.
So 35 seconds here. I really like the Tide Hunter. I think it's been quite strong in the last 2 months or so, and it definitely seems like you could be a lot more aggressive with the Tide Hunter these days. Like, it used to feel like you were just looking for the proper moment to maybe blink in and ravage and be that setup guy. Like, you still obviously have that, but now it almost feels like you can kind of run at some of these heroes with the Anchor Smash. And
yeah. If you have a good lane and get beefy early, Tide can quickly become very hard to kill. So RNG, they banned Death Prophet, worried about that push. There is still a Pugna in the pool if they want to take that approach. Getting some magic damage, I feel, is something that Newbie have zero of. You generally want to kind of, not go too all in and right-click damage, because that's where, a Tide Hunter comes out, a Crimson Guard comes in of Lads, and suddenly you've got no magic damage to deal with these physical damage-resistant heroes. So getting like a Lena, Pugna type hero could work out for Newbie.
Phantom Lancer.
Yep. So they'll still get the hard carry, Yeah, you're against the lineup that wants to kind of push, but PL, he's actually a decent laner. Against Nature's Prophet, he's pretty good. He's got the high base armor. He can get on top of the Nature's Prophet. So I don't mind this pick at all. It doesn't like amazingly benefit from the divine favor of Chen, but it's still somebody for Chen to chuck it on.
And it is in my eyes, one of those heroes that I kind of associate Monet with is that Phantom Lancer. I feel like he plays that hero so well. And again, it's also a little bit of, just having that ability to be slippy, just like the puck. He's got Illusory Orb, you've got Doppelganger. Like, it makes it hard for Newbie to really find their focus. And then, while they're kind of losing it and trying to find their target, here comes Flyby throwing a Ravage, and it can be rough.
Well, we're going to get the Viper versus Tide kind of counter pick in a sense, and being able to deal with the passive with your Nether Toxin, which got buffed a decent amount. Increased AoE, increased damage. Viper has, quietly been receiving a few little buffs here and there. So it's Triple C feeling confident that this is a hero to bust out here. Very weak hero against PL. They have zero ways of dealing with this PL. If this goes late game and Newbee haven't taken racks and aren't playing from ahead, I feel like they just straight up lose. They cannot go late game against this drop. But Viper, you rush a Helm with a Dominator. I think the Viper can get it since Lycan is more likely to get like a Vlad's into Necrobook. You definitely don't need 2 Helms, but it's just another hero that can get Mech, Pipe, Crimson Guard for the team. It's like that team item building hero, so it does look like a pretty scary Newbee draft here.
Yeah, so we'll see how this kind of comes out. Got to remember, these are all best of ones, so, it just seems like all teams kind of have to go all out on these best of ones, although at the same time, I say that nobody gets eliminated from, coming in 5th to 8th, so maybe a little bit of experimenting going on too, but still, these best of ones, there's no coming back from a loss where there is in a best of 3.
Yep. So we'll see where this goes. No teams get eliminated from the group stage, right?
No. The bottom 4 go to the lower bracket round 1, and the top 4 go to upper bracket round 1, which is a round advantage over the lower bracket.
Yeah, and lower bracket round 1 is best of 1, which is a bit spooky at times.
Yeah. Those first round best of ones always seem like killers for teams that you expect to do better.
Yeah. Well, here we go. I'd say 2 teams here that, there's a good chance. I mean, at least they're underdogs. They're not expected, I think, to make it to the upper bracket. I think some of the Tier 1 Western teams coming in are favored to kind of be in the winner bracket end of the group stage, as well as, maybe teams like Vici Gaming, who should be pretty solid. LGD not playing here means it's a lot more open for other teams to poke their noses through, but we'll have to see if either of these teams can, step it up. Playing the BO1s means the results for this group stage could be very unpredictable.
Yeah, especially with then eHome. We still don't even know their situation yet. Yeah, that's another team.
They would have been a top 4 favorite, but yeah, with their issues with a few of their players. EG playing without Sumail, who knows how good EG is going to be.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. 5 teams with changes to the roster.
Well, changes to the lanes. Newbee are going to rotate Lycan all the way top. They don't like what they see down bottom, and they're not going to like this either. Faith gets picked off for a first blood RNG. This boots first tiny 333 movement speed, just able to find all these early kills. And they're going to send Nature's Prophet against the tri lane. They don't want to give Lycan this tough lane.
And we saw the Tiny with the boots early last game too, and that's what got them their first blood. So again, it happens. Rolling Boulder coming in from Wexy, so Afu has to be a little bit careful, but Alwyn a little bit lagging too far behind to really make a good move here onto the Tiny. But it's Wexy here with Alwyn over bottom, and then top you've got Mugi with Faith up against Flyby. And then, of course...
Yep. This is the lane Mugi wants. Like, even though Lycan versus Tide isn't amazing, he does not want to play into the tri lane. That's why he decides to rotate top, so he'll find a slightly better lane for himself. And the issue is going to be whether Arwen can have a lane down bottom. If he's against a tri lane, he's going to need some help, which is what Wakesy is doing here with the Earth Spirit.
Rolling Boulder comes out, but it only hits on Afu. We'll see when...
It was aiming for Afu. He was like rolling... He started the roll before he even saw him, and then Afu just happened to walk in front of it.
Gotta get in way. Gotta get in the way and pull that blocker out. Make sure that no Rolling Boulders get in. Especially, I feel like level 2 Earth Spirits are able to do so much. So I'm wondering to see whether he stays in this lane or we see him roam around a lot. Something you'd see from like Bobica.
Alwyn makes one of the cardinal mistakes of Nature's Prophet play. He uses Nature's Call but only gets 1 Treant. It is not what you want to see from your Nature's Prophet.
He's forced to go all the way back here to base.
I think the lane is pushed up, so he's not really missing a whole lot. If you push that close to the enemy Tier 1 tower, you're so vulnerable to ganks. He's going to roll out and get a regen rune. Nicely played by him.
It gets away. The 2 supports come over with Lanham coming in and the toss on top of him from Afu. So they're trying to get a kill here, but he finds a regen. He's able to stick in the lane. Alwyn coming back full mana, full health. They're, well, now using it on getting more treants. And Afu might be in a little bit of trouble, but senses this move with the rolling boulder from Wexy, who's now found himself in trouble. But the boulder smash comes out, and they'll get the kill into Afu. Looks like it might trade the Earth Spirit, but Monet doesn't act. Yeah, he doesn't go and venture into the jungle or this forest.
Yeah, he can't really chase. His Phantom Rush was on cooldown, and those trees, you're just gonna get fogged. If you try to get a Spirit Lance off, it's just not gonna work. He's gonna keep going to fog. He's gonna salve up, and at that point, you're baiting yourself in. So they weren't really able to chase down for the return kill. So nicely played by Newbee down bottom. Alwyn just using his mobility to get back to base, heal himself up, come back with boots, and he's just looking a whole lot scary, although he does get tossed back at bottom.
Now Alwyn has to be really careful. He has the treants and will get kicked away by Wexy, and that's going to be enough to keep him alive, but now, wow, again, yeah, the rolling boulder to escape. Both of them get out.
This time, Nature's Prophet does not have a TP scroll, but he can use teleportation back to base and then TP scroll into the lane if he decides he needs to. A lot of attention on this bottom lane, but I feel like these other lanes are pretty uneventful. Tide is a Tide, and he is playing against Dazzle Poison Touch, which is kind of annoying, but he's already hit level 4, so Flyby has really zero risk of dying up top. Mid lane, Viper versus Puck. Puck is winning this lane. Viper is actually just not the dominant laning hero he used to be. He loses quite a lot of 1v1 matchups, I feel, in terms of CS, but once he starts coming online, he gets a lot harder to deal with.
Do you think it's possible for Wexy to come on over? Because it's an elusive hero like Puck that Setsu's playing, so even coming over, it doesn't guarantee you, well, anytime somebody comes over mid, you're not guaranteed the kill, but I think especially against this Puck, it's going to be really tough even if he made a move.
Yeah, it feels like a low percentage play because it's probably unlikely you kill the Puck unless he makes a mistake because it is an elusive hero. And if you leave bottom lane, your Nature's Prophet is just going to die. You may see Nature's Prophet die anyways, but
he is in a lot of trouble trying to find his way out here. One more shot will get the kill, but Monet doesn't spot him, and the rolling boulder comes out. And again, Wexy's able to keep him alive and the TP away.
That's why Wexy stays bottom. And now he's going to TP mid. He's like, okay, my job's on bottom. Nature's Prophet's not in lane. Let's see if I can be involved in a kill here. And the other important thing is Puck is a bit low in mana, does have just enough for an illusionary orb there. So I think with this illusionary orb, you're not finding a kill. Although Setsu does use it offensively as bounty runes are spawned.
Ooh, the TP over top from Alwyn. You're looking for Flyby over by the shrine. Oh, the boulder smash not gonna matter. Wexy with the kick.
If he doesn't get that off, I'm pretty sure the Tide lives with the Shrine regen. So Shrine gets used and they get the kill. Flyby does get the bounty rune, so I mean, I would say typically offlaners dying to get a bounty rune for the team is worth it, although this is a Tide that's getting actually decent farm. He's got 17 CS, but I'm sure his team is thanking him. Like, you know, you've done well, you got us a bounty rune, it's worth it for your death.
Yeah, the Shrine is the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about getting used over top of it. Now Flyby's kind of receded back into the jungle, and he's going to play it a little bit safer, as there's 4 heroes top right now for Newbee. Oh my god. And they're looking for that early push.
Well, the response from RNG is to gank the mid lane. They want to kill off this Viper. I don't think they can defend top, so they're better off focusing their efforts elsewhere, and it's going to be on SCC.
Yeah, they've got the Dream Coil, so we'll see if they're able to get the kill with Afu following it up. They have the Avalanche, but Faith comes over the Poison Touch and the heal, but it won't be nearly enough to get the kill. Lanham has to run away as he gets low, but multiple heroes on the side of RNG get low. It's not going to matter. They'll get the kill over mid.
And Flyby, with those TPs, is actually able to defend the top tower a little bit. They will still lose it with the siege creep here, but if he can get deny, that's a lot of snowball gold taken away from Newbee, but Mugi gets the last.
Yeah, Wexy just making sure he does get that last hit by kicking away Flyby.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. If you're running these push strats and towers get denied, it can be pretty game losing. One tower, maybe not, but if there's like 2 towers denied, that's a huge amount of gold that your team is desperately needed because you're being starved of farm and experience when you're going for push strats and grouping up.
Flyby surviving for so long. The anchor smash, and he'd been hit with so much here with the Poison Touch coming in and the heal coming out from Faith with the Shadow Wave. And I mean, he ate a lot of it, ends up dying, but still a lot of space to pull over a third.
By more and more time. PL free farming away down bottom. having a grand old time. Not farming as well as the Lycan. Lycan with this lane and the tower and just his ability to jungle already has a Helm of the Dominator coming out, so it will be the Lycan going for the Helm. I imagine we'll see Viper. He's actually got a Veil queued up, so looking to amp up some of that magic damage. Very good with the spell Lifesteal talent that Viper gets, as well as like just the kind of build that you can go into with your Viper Strike, so it's a lot of magic damage that can come out from this Viper.
Flyby now level 6, holding a point. We'll see if that does end up going into the Ravage, as he's gone 3 into the Kraken Shell, 2 into the Anchor Smash. Not a lot of people taking Gush early anymore. Not even like a value point.
If you're solo, it's not worth it. If he was like in an aggro dual lane, like the old 2-1-2 meta, you almost always want to get Gush, but when you're playing 1 versus 2, Gush is only good when you've got a teammate with you who can benefit from the minus armor and the slow to get right clicks in, like a ranged Nature's Prophet or Dazzle or something. By yourself, there's no need to get the Gush.
Sets you coming over towards mid. His reorb goes over the top, but they do have Faith here, and he jaunts over to it. Won't turn into anything exciting.
Tonight. Well, I got SCCC a range creep tonight. That was pretty high. No, it's pretty fun. Like, feels good when you deny a range creep right before Puck used his Waning Rift.
Yeah. That's you know, get that little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, it's like the psychological damage inflicted. Although he didn't give him the tip, which is, you know, I feel like most mid players there would throw out a tip for that one.
I was reading that that's not even mutable. You can't mute tipping in game.
Yeah, well, you gotta just deal with it. You know, you gotta be mentally strong. keep it PMA.
All smiley faces.
But yeah, it's a pretty slowish game right now, which is what, as much as it's a push strat from Newbee of sorts, you don't expect them to like explode off the ground and take all these early towers. Lycan may look to rotate now with his Helm plus level 7, or in this case have people rotate to him, and they are going to find Flyby, who does not have a skill point anymore.
Yeah, and that does come in and land. Went 4 onto the Kraken Shell, 3 into the Anchor Smash. Wow. So he doesn't expect to move at all.
I think Lycan should be rotating mid. That should be the tower that Newbee take, because once you take the mid and top tier 1 tower, you open up the enemy jungle, and you have full access to that jungle, so I don't like that Viper rotates top. I feel like it should be the Lycan rotating to the Viper's lane in mid. Right now, they're prioritizing giving Faith some levels, so he's taken the mid lane as a support by himself, but he's better off going top.
Oh, Setsu, Dream Coil, that comes out on the 3, but it's not going to matter. He'll try to get out of there, and there's just no way out of this with everybody surrounding him from the side of Newbee, and now they're going to go after the tier 1 mid.
This is the rotation I wanted. Bring the Lycan to the mid lane. He's got the wolves, he can push, and this is the tower that's most important right now to take. So
Flyby coming over, but he never hit level 8, so he doesn't have anything in Ravage. He just comes over to his death.
And Nether Toxin destroys it. It's 3 points. No, it doesn't matter how many points you've got in it. It's the break. The Sprout plus Nether Toxin locks Tide in place, gets rid of all that damage block. 48 damage block, gone. And he just melts there. He looks so much squishier than a Tide should because of that Nether Toxin.
And it looks like Newbee are starting to really put their foot on the gas.
Yep. I think if they can get an early pipe, they're going to look really unstoppable, because the ability to defend is entirely reliant on the Puck and Tiny's AoE nuke combo, so a pipe is going to be extra value. I would almost prefer SCCC on the Viper, get it instead of this Veil, but we could see the pipe come out elsewhere. Like Lycan can get it after his Necrobook, Nature's Prophet could theoretically get it, so there's other heroes that could look to pick it up, or you just get it later on in the game, but towers are falling very quickly to this Newbee lineup.
Yeah, Newbee putting a lot of pressure on it. It's only 5-3, so it's not even with the kills. And, of course, at the same time, Monet is trying to use this space that he's been given so far to find this Diffusal Blade. Is the Diffusal Blade enough for him to start maybe participating with RNG? Or I almost feel like he's going to be forced into a spot where he has to participate with the team.
Yeah, it means if he does participate, he's a threat. He can kill people. If he gets on a Dazzle or Nurse Spirit, those heroes are going to die to a Diffusal PL. But his ability to get into those fights is entirely dependent on his team. He needs the Tide to get a good Ravage. He needs Tiny to get a good initiation. He can't just go charging into a fight first, which is where it's really good. Tiny got this fast Blink Dagger, because now he's got a teammate who can actually start the fight off. which is what the PL needs to get involved. So we'll likely see him, come to a fight when there's a Ravage, at least, and if Ravage is on cooldown, then he's just looking to farm.
As we see that blink come up for the tiny Afu, will smoke with himself and Setsu.
For now, looks like Newbee are slowing it down. You take 2 towers mid. That was suddenly a huge boost in their map control, but SCCC is probably like, guys, I'm actually not that farmed. I need to get some items. He got 1,600 gold, and they are going to rotate towards him in the bottom lane. He's just been down there farming alone, getting some levels. Has left Arwen alone. He's getting ganked up top.
Yeah, Blink Avalanche and Afu will get the kill. Sets you through the Illusory Orb. You would flyby move in with the Anchor Smash, and he took 1 in Gush before that 4 in the Anchor Smash, and it's that value point with the Ravage now available as he's hit level 9.
That was the Blink reveal. So, yeah. That Blink reveal is sometimes going to catch you out by surprise. Mid, though.
Well, Adam, yeah, you got a team behind you, bud. And they're going to come in and get an easy kill. Monet immediately to the Doppelganger and the TP out.
Yeah, so we'll just make sure they don't get caught at bottom lane, but they don't get the tier 1 tower, so they rotate to kill a support. They're not in a huge rush to get these bottom towers, so it doesn't really matter that they don't take those towers, but ultimately the kill they get mid isn't really a high value one, so we're going to keep seeing Newbee, play around probably more like the Necro 3 timing, and I want to say, yeah, that potential pipe pickup could be more of a timing they want to go for. Viper's actually got a Midas queued up, so that kind of says a different story, like they want to have some late game assurance. And they can do okay late game. Like Viper with this magic damage, Nether Toxin, you put that down, PL doesn't really want to fight in the Nether Toxin either, so it can be very annoying for some of these dire heroes to play into.
Actually, Newbee are the ones who go into Roche. Again, the Ravage is available, so we'll see how they try to attempt to come into this, as really the positioning of Flyby is very important, as he's going to be slowed down by the Boulder Smash coming in. They're still inside the Roche pit, but Roche is not low. Mugi finally takes a step out.
Roche is so low right now.
This is anybody's Roche, and
gets stolen. So Lycan loses his Helm Creep, which is pretty important that you can take away that bonus damage. And Nature's Prophet actually TPing bottom, so they're going to give up on Roshan. They keep the wolves in there, but if anyone can get inside this Roshan pit, like if RNG can get in there with a Gush, they may feel confident that they can finish off the rest of the health here. The problem is they don't have any way to clear out these Lycan wolves, which are just scouting every move right now.
And it's still a bit of a stalemate here inside the river by the Roche pit, and you did send the Nature's Prophet over bottom, but he still has that teleportation to come on back just in case a fight does break out. And they finally send Monet in.
PL gets very low already, just from a Roshan hit or two with the Nether Toxin, so they're going to kill out some of these Chen creeps. I like Nature's Prophet TPing bomb. That's so valuable that you can have this teleportation to secure bottom lane being pushed out. He grabs both bounty runes.
Oh,
and he
Boulder
can
Smash. On to Afu, they've got the Rolling Boulder coming in from Wexy, and that's going to be a kill onto the Tiny, and with that, they go right back into the Roche pit. They take it so quickly, there's no way back in. Flyby can only just escape. The Illusory Orb, just a little bit
He almost
too
times
late.
I think he was just looking for the Roche last hit there. Even if he just gets the gold for his team, that'd be really nice, but I don't think going for an Aegis snipe when you don't have a Blink Dagger is worth it there, so just looking to steal some gold.
And we were talking about the Midas on the Viper. Midas for Alwyn as well.
Well, they want to go late game a little bit. They don't have any good PL answer, but if they can 5-man and get these Midases just to give them like that next big item a little bit sooner and give them also experience. When you're going for this push strat and 5-manning a lot, you're a little bit under-leveled, which is where Newbee find themselves, and maybe they just feel PL, even though they don't have good answers to him, he's the solo carry. He's got a Tide and Puck on his team, so it is like a solo carry lineup against a Newbee side that have 3 cores that all scale pretty well with items. So even though they're not amazing late game carries, Lycan, Prophet, Viper, it's 3 scaling cores against 1.
What is the plural for Midas? As I was going to say, these Midases, or
Midai.
Multiple Midai coming out for Newbee. I'm interested to see how, when it finally comes online, when you do finally have yourself those 2 Midases, and then you're able to get the value back, of course, where RNG are going to be at that point. Because I feel like it does give Monet enough time to find this next, like the Yasha coming in and possibly the Manta.
And they kind of know they can do this because even with Midas on these heroes, they're actually still way stronger. Like, yeah, they've got 4,000 gold invested in Midas, but it doesn't matter. They're just so much scarier with all their summons and treants and necrobooks that it's very hard to fight right now.
There was Puck pushing mid for a moment, but illusory orbs away.
Probably to TP back bottom if the fight breaks out.
And Monet comes over, he's going to spot as Triple C, but look at this damage come out immediately. They've got the coming in from the Chen as well as the Ravage that's going to land on a couple of these heroes. They'll take out Faith to start this off. The Silence is going to come through under the Earth Spirit. They'll get themselves a second. Now they look over a movie, but the break on the Tide. You can just rip through that Kraken shell, that hard exterior that does nothing inside of it. And then they also get the kill in Atlanta. Monet is able to escape, and it ends up being a 2 for 2. A quick 1-2 for RNG, but then even down a 3v5, Newbee find 2 kills of their own.
Yeah, nice thing for RNG is that they cleared the creep wave, so they couldn't take the tier 2 tower, even with the necrobooks there. So Newbee's still going to feel pretty good. They get the slight win out of that fight, and they're just going to fall back and keep on farming. They're very much securing their late game. It's these 3 heroes that are all getting a lot of items, a lot of farm, and I think they're actually not going to look to go super late game. Even though they've got 2 Midas, they are looking to just get like maybe 1 more big item on these heroes and then try and end the game a bit. Double BKB. Like Lycan's got BKB queued up, Viper has it queued up. When they get these, they're going to be looking to go high ground, probably with Aegis number 2. I don't feel like we'll see them high ground with this first Aegis unless they win some fight convincingly.
Yeah, they've got a couple of minutes still left on that Aegis, so not a lot of time. But again, Midas, now I think he bought out on Boots of Travel for the Viper, so yeah, that's going to be bots coming in and then the BKB. So once they get those BKBs, that's going to be that timing that I think RNG, it's either make or break at that moment.
We're seeing how potent this Nether Toxin can be. They actually see the PL with a ward. They're ganking him.
Yeah, they've got the Geomagnetic Grip as well as the Heal Bomb coming out from Faith, and they continue to move on forward. Now the Magnetism coming through into Monet, who's starting to make a run. There's so many heroes here. Yeah, they guess on an illusion. The Rolling Boulder comes out. The Doppelganger once again. Monet, all these heroes, the smoke being used, and they find nothing.
It was like it's that 50-50 guess where after he Doppelgangers, the real one's going one way and the fake one that's tanky goes another, and you just have to guess a bit. I mean, you can use some of the info, like the way he micros them to guess, but unfortunately for RNG, they went for the wrong one. But, I mean, they're still looking good. They're got a 3k gold lead. They do need to keep playing fast here and taking objectives. They've only got 1 outer tower left, but you know, next Roshan, take over the map a little bit. Flyby needs to be careful on the Tide.
Yeah, Monet comes in as well, and there's the Boulder Smash. That slows him up. They dropped down the Nether Toxin, but he's far enough away from that. The Viper Strike comes in, and now another Nether Toxin goes down. And yeah, Mugi gets the kill. That was a smoke, the miss on Monet, and then the smoke again from Newbee, so not really laying their foot off the gas. And then Monet actually going from that top fight, TPing bottom and getting the kill on an all-in, so at least a little bit of a trade here for RNG.
RNG's just playing keep away. Anywhere that Newbee go with their like 4-man lineup, they're going elsewhere on the map. And often Nature's Prophet is a hero that's alone, trying to push out lanes and then TP to join the team. So killing this Nature's Prophet as much as possible is definitely the way you want to play this. Newbee poking around mid lane. I don't really see them going high ground, but they're gonna. Oh look, are they gonna kill this pup?
And they should be able to do so. The phase shift comes in, but he's running away with no illusory orb and will end up falling. And again, that is a play made by Wexy to make that start off. It was the Geomagnetic Grip that got the silence there under the puck, and then they were able to surround him. He had already thrown the illusory orb and no escape from there.
Yeah, I think I believe you can still blink out of the Nether Toxin when you're phase shifted, but you've got to just blink the way you're facing, which is towards Newbee, so he may have just died anyways. Suddenly, they're getting racks here.
Yeah, Alwyn, though, in trouble once again, and he'll end up dying, but...
space created if they can get this racks.
Backdoor protection kicks in.
Oh, that's so important.
Break is still on a flyby. Oh, tries to get out, but again, just the Nether Toxin up every 5 seconds is so gross against this Tidehunter.
And Chen's got this triple siege creep, which is nice, but doesn't help you teamfight. Afu, his TP cancelled in the backlines here. He does have a blink, though. And they're going to turn to fight.
Yeah, they've got the ulti coming in from Mugi as well as the Dream Coil laying down. The Avalanche toss comes through. They got the kill on the Faith, and now they'll look for more. The Rolling Boulder comes over, and now Monet on the run as the Magnetize is on top of him, and Setsu trying to get away from the Viper. The Rolling Boulder onto the high ground. Monet comes over with the Phantom or the Spirit Lance coming in. And they end up getting Setsu off screen. Mugi moving over, who's now going to try to TP out, but there's no way that's happening with the Centaur creep here from Lanham to get that stun.
He just got that Centaur too. He got it like 3 seconds before he went for the TP. But still Rex. You know, you get that melee Rex, you get out, losing a Lycan, you don't feel too bad about that. Lycan now has a 10-second BKB for the next fight. Viper is only 1,000 gold away from his BKB, so I think all in all, Newbee still feel like they're on track. They managed to get Rax without the Aegis cheese. Next Roshan is going to have both, and then they're posing a really big threat. That's like when they need to try and end this game in a sense, because if they can't get another lane of Rax with that second Roshan, things could start to look a little bit dicey.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Now, the last fight seemed like a stalemate until finally they got themselves one and Flyby walked off. But this time around, do you think RNG have a better chance of competing in this Roche Pit area to try and take away this Aegis?
It's so tricky. Like, Nether Toxin around the Roshan Pit is destroying them. If PL can't fight in the Nether Toxin because of the break. Tide can't fight in the Nether Toxin. And yeah, you've got this Force Staff, which is nice to get out of the Sprout plus Nether Toxin combo, or just get yourself out of the Nether Toxin quicker, but it's such a short cooldown that Viper's just going to plan another one. It's a 5-second cooldown. He's going to like cover the entire area in Nether Toxin at some point. Well, by cover, I mean, you can only get 2 out at once, but that's all you need when you're fighting at the Roshan Pit. So I actually think it's really difficult for RNG to fight there. PL, when he has a heart, is going to be a lot tankier, which is maybe where Monet feels like he's not as afraid of the Viper.
SCCC doing so much work. He's now got that BKB, so the BKB timings come out where you've got the Lycan who's got his BKB that's going to be sitting at 10 seconds. The Viper will have his at 10 seconds, and Roche up in 2 minutes. It's a long Roche, which is, I would say, a little bit more beneficial for RNG to try and come up with a game plan and maybe find the finishing touches on their next items.
Buys them some time, allows them to keep split pushing a bit more, and that's really, I feel like, their best bet right now is just play the split push game. Afu, bottom lane, pressuring the lane, Puck up top. They don't really have the ability to team fight right now, so they're just going to keep on avoiding conflict, and I actually don't think they contest this Roshan. With the BKBs now online, it just feels like a losing recipe.
Afu in the trees. SCCC is over bottom.
Yeah. It's a blink away. And there's no backup for SCCC, so.
They have Chen, but I wouldn't say this is the combo that gets a kill on a Viper. They finally do have Monet nearby, but again, I think he's still just trying to farm up and finish off what looks to be this heart.
This Chen is looking a little bit ineffective right now. Lanham had a triple siege creep going, and I don't even think you want siege creeps when you're playing defensively. Like, they're the ones defending. I guess he's thinking he can split push the side lanes, which is not a bad idea, but Lanham is just not finding creeps that he can really do a whole lot with. Gets an Alpha Wolf now. Like, you know, he's playing a very support defensive style, and that's really all you can do. Right now, Chen is just a Divine Favor bot in these fights. Like, put Divine Favor on the PL and hope for the best.
They're still waiting for this Roche. 25 more seconds. Faith comes in and clears out the vision that RNG had around there, so you know that they're starting to set up, and it was one of the later Roche timers, so.
RNG will know when it's up. They're keeping these creeps in the pit, but that's also a creep that Newbee could just look to grab himself. They're going to catch Tide on mid.
Oh boy, he tries to get out of here, and now coming over is going to be Monet. They'll chase. SCCC continue to go with the Rolling Boulder coming out, and again, the Nether Toxin just laid down. They'll get the kill. Monet, the Doppelganger, try to get out. He's broken once again with the BKB being popped by Mugi as well as SCCC. They move forward. They've got the silence onto the Phantom Lancer. It's going to finally run out. Now he's got the Doppelganger onto the high ground. Ravage comes from the high ground, but it really doesn't land on much with the BKBs just running out. They finally find themselves Wexy, who Rolling Boulder and not get out. Afu finally gets the finishing touches on that. The Avalanche is going to land on 2. It just touches SCCC for a moment. They finally get the toss here onto the Nature's Prophet. Alwyn falls. He hits the deck. That's 2 heroes dead. Now they look over for the Viper as the BKBs have already been used, so fighting back into the RNG squad is not going to be that easy. The Nether Toxin laid down, but Monet doesn't quite care. They've got themselves a third, and Lycan as well as the Dazzle will walk away from that one.
sure enough, it is kind of the hard timing on the PL. That's where he's suddenly tanky enough to take these fights, and they're in the Roshan pit. They've got an Alpha Wolf. If Newbee don't fight back here, they may just lose Roshan. Like the Wolves are going to scout it, but they're going to get there perhaps a little bit late to do something about this. Viper may just need to instantly buy back. He can boost the travel onto a neutral, or like an Alpha Wolf. So yeah, he can boost the travel right into this.
Roche didn't exactly go down that quickly for RNG, the way we kind of saw it for Newbee a moment ago, but SCC is going to go in with another toxin coming out, and then they go rolling boulder from Lexi. That's going to keep Flyby in place. He's going to be killed off immediately, but the Dream Coil is on almost everybody from Newbee here. They've got the Dazzle down low. Apu tries to get out. They get the kill on a Faith, and now they look over as this looks as though SCC has found himself yet another kill. Lanham goes down, and Tiny standing still, but the rolling boulder finally comes in. The Nether Toxin drop down on top of him. They'll get the kill on Apu and Lanham. 3 heroes gone without buyback, and now Roche goes down, and Moogie denies the Aegis! He denies the Aegis of all things, and they'll get the kill on Monet on top of that! All 4 heroes near this pit are dead!
Moogie, I guess he's just like, well, I'm not getting it, you guys aren't getting it. And they may just team wipe him here. Puck needs to blink out, does do so.
Setsu just getting away, but this 4 heroes without buyback, they're going to take, they'll finish off the racks, and then they'll get a +1, it looks like.
Yeah, so, I mean, I talked about they need to get a second lane with Aegis chained, and while they don't get the Aegis, they get the kill. So they actually will get that second lane of racks basically off of the second Roshan here. They push incredibly fast with all their aura items. And there's just nobody left to defend here. Puck's just trying to push out mid, so 2 full lanes of racks, not GG by any means. The PL is still a late game threat, but this game looks very, very good for Newbee right now.
Wow, Newbee in clean form at the moment, and this is something that Newbee fans have been waiting for a while.
Yep. I mean, it looks good. I wouldn't say it's totally clean. It's been a bit of a chaotic, crazy game in some ways, but draft-wise, it's looking really good. Like, this Viper pick is demolishing. The break from Nether Toxin with the buffs this spell received, giving it the increased AoE and the increased damage. He actually maxed it first, I believe, this game to help him farm and push out waves. SCC has been the difference maker this game.
And the Nether Toxin's coming in every 5 seconds is just disgusting. And now they're going to look over at Setsu with the Viper Strike used. Setsu, you got to find an escape here. The Illusory Orb once again doesn't get down in the river, but with the bottle, he'll heal up, and he makes enough space with that jaunt over. So, so much damage output from SCC as well. And this is just the Viper against the Puck.
Yeah. And it's like when you get the break on the Tide, everybody's damage gets amped up. Like suddenly the Lycan can actually right-click a Tide when you take away the Kraken Shell. So it makes such a big difference. And we're seeing it every single fight. It's just winning the... Suddenly in a fight, Tide will go from being this super tanky guy to incredibly squishy. And it's all based around that break. So Newbee will probably settle down a bit now. They've got the 2 racks advantage. They may try and look for a way to regain control of the bottom side of the map. They want to take this tier 2 tower and probably the RNG shrine down here, but they're in no rush with a 4 racks advantage.
Do you think they're going to stay a little bit, you know, passive on the side of Newbee because of the fact that they don't have this Aegis?
Yeah, I think they want to wait for their next couple big items or two. Viper with a Radiance. Oh man, I love this pickup. Against the PL with the spell Lifesteal talent. He's got poison attack effects buildings as well, so he wants to be able to give himself a little bit of extra pushing power as well. So I don't think they're in a huge rush. Moogie's going to have a Mjolnir soon, so they're actually getting these items that help against PL. They don't counter PL by any means. There's a reason why, Mjolnir doesn't just kill out all these illusions, but it's all about, making the PL as small of a threat as possible, and these items do help.
So it's just a Hyper Stone away, 50 gold.
But they're gonna get this bottom shrine as well as the bottom tier 2 tower. Whether or not they go high ground, we'll have to wait and see. I feel like if RNG are in a position and they get this with this high ground ward, they can actually threaten to go high ground. The vision makes a big difference when trying to break enemy high ground.
So they go after the shrine, they'll take it very quickly. The smoke play is here from RNG, but they have to try and find themselves an entry point with this Ravage.
BKB.
So they'll find themselves Moogie, who's going to pop the BKB with the Dream Coil coming out. Flyby's got to sit on the back lines as he's trying to find himself the optimal Ravage. The Avalanche comes through on a Faith. Mugi moving over. They've got themselves a Hex. There's the Ravage coming through, and now let's see what they're able to do to follow this up. RNG, they look to try and get the kill here onto the Dazzle as the break is on top of the Phantom Lancer. They'll finally get themselves the kill on a Faith. That's going to be one. The Silence through on the Flyby, who's chased down by Wexy with Mugi and SCCC in tow. They'll get themselves the Tidehunter, who used the Ravage, and now there's nothing more with it. Monet and Setsu looking to set up once again. They've got the Yules coming through on Nature's Prophet. The Doppelganger out. The Illusory Orb there as well. And now they'll find themselves a bit of an escape. They look to re-engage once again. Lanham was surrounded by trees here from the Sprout coming out from Alwyn. They've got the Hex one more time. And they'll find Afu. Oh, just surviving on the low ground. Oh, no, okay, never mind.
The Maelstrom.
Maelstrom comes in.
What? He got the lightning proc from like 1,000 range away. What a way to die. Poor Tiny, he was just about to get a blink out.
That is a mixture of emotions there. I made it! Oh, I'm dead. And then the Hex comes out. Again, this is going to be through onto the puck, who will end up falling. Setsu gone for 70 seconds. He'll immediately buy back. Mugi comes over. They've got a Mjolnir shield onto Alwyn. Lanham's going to fall as well. That's going to be the SCCC. Monet's really the only one who can do much of anything, as SCCC is going to pop the BKB, and then another Toxin's going to be laid down again with the Dream Coil popped on SCCC, but it's not going to matter. They'll take the Rex, they'll get the Mega Creeps, and RNG corral into their base. They'll finally call GG with Mega Creeps for Newbee, and Newbee take the best of one, and they'll find a +1 to top it off.
MVP Viper, hands down. I mean, a lot of it is the fact, the way his hero fits into the draft, but it's not a hero you often look at and say, that hero is the MVP. Viper, not known for his flashiness, but this game, the itemization, the way they played around the Nether Toxin, that was the deciding factor. And it was a great showing from SCCC. He just looked so damn good this game. Top of the damage charts, 27k hero damage. He was flawless with his itemization and the way he played this game.
Yeah, it was a combination that I didn't even see immediately. That was the Sprout with the Nether Toxin around you, and that forced Flyby into this Force Staff, and I mean, they were able to even pick off Setsu. Monet was the only one who was really finding much of anything on the side of RNG, and Newbee shut it down, and this is a win that might mean a lot for Newbee. You know, they have been in some sort of a slump here for quite some time, and, you know, Alwyn coming into the team, he's replacing JT. So it's a different vibe here for Newbee. Alwyn, again, I'll repeat myself, he, to me, is one of the best players coming out of Newbee Mr. Game Boy. The, I would say, academy team, kind of Newbee. So, you know, it's a bit of a different roster, but not many changes. It just, you know, Alwyn coming in, and Newbee looking not completely crisp, but looking good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a prime example of how to use the last pick of a draft, getting that Viper as a counter pick to Tide. And while Viper, I would even say you could consider Viper kind of early to mid game counter PL, because PL, when he hits that defusal timing, he can't fight because of the Nether Toxin. You're just not making illusions. It's good AoE damage. He itemizes into the BKB Radiance, so the Radiance is a good answer to PL. I mean, the Viper looked like a PL counter this game. So the fact they could get such a high value 10th pick made such a big difference here. And draft-wise, yeah, Newbee looked good. Play-wise, they look great. Very, very promising stuff.
Yeah, so we'll be back with the next game coming up, I believe, is IG versus Vici. An IG roster that not many people will recognize, but, you know, we can get through it together. As we'll be back in just a moment with that best of one coming up next. And then from there, we've got 4 more on top of that. So stay tuned. A lot of Dota yet to come. Only 2 best of ones down, 5 more to go. And we'll be back in just a moment.